The final candidate is Dr. Cheng Bock.
Dear voters, we have reached the end of a spirited campaign. In the past 9 days, I've met so many Singaporeans. I'll never forget all your smiles, warm handshakes, and kind words. Tonight, I would like to share with you my thoughts on what a president should be. A president should feel for his people and empathize with them. He should be someone that people can trust and relate to. Over the last 30 years, I've met Singaporeans in my clinic, in coffee shops, and at HDB void decks almost every week. As a doctor in Ama Keng village, I treated the poor and needy. As an MP in Ayer Rajah, I solved problems for many families. I laughed and cheered with them in community events. I went to the weddings and funerals of my constituents. Over the years, I stood up for you, for more C-class beds for the poor in restructured hospitals, for the use of CPF monies to fund your children's tertiary education, for credit counseling for those in debt. When you park for free on polling day, remember I also fought for free parking on Sundays and public holidays. These contributions still exist for all to see. I did it all because I love my country. I also stood up for Singaporeans on matters of principle, like streaming at the primary school level and the nominated MP scheme, which I voted against. When the government proposed the current formula for ministers' pay, I warned them of the political cost in 1994. When they pushed foreign talent policy too aggressively in 1999, I asked them to think Singaporeans first. Even after I left office, I cared for you by helping plan a patient-centered hospital for the common man, where he could access top specialists at a reasonable cost. I have cared for you in the past and will never cease doing so. The second important quality in a president is fairness. People want a neutral president. They don't want someone too close to the government or the opposition. The worst thing is a proxy president who sides with the government or the opposition all the time. In this campaign, you can see that I'm not backed by the PAP or the SDP or any other political party. I owe nobody any favors. In fact, my volunteers come from all backgrounds. In the GE, they were PAP or opposition supporters. But for these presidential elections, they set aside the differences and came together as one. We have put nation above politics. This is the kind of unity I want for Singapore. Like my election symbol, the palm tree, my presidency will be a shelter to accommodate all Singaporeans, regardless of whether you are from the government or opposition. I welcome you under its shade. This is the kind of president I want to be. The third important quality is to have the right corporate governance expertise. In guarding the reserves, the president should be someone with the relevant knowledge. A president is there to guard your savings. We don't want a president who experiments with economic theory or someone who will take over the job of the finance minister. He should have relevant custodial experience. My friends, I spent 21 years in a corporate guardian role as independent chairman of Chuan Hub Holdings, a successful Singapore public listed company. We were profitable because we practiced prudent and safe corporate governance. None of the other candidates have sat on a public listed board as chairman longer than I have. I was also appointed to boards of key subsidiaries owned by top European multinational companies. I was an independent director at ING Asia Private Bank and ensured it obeyed all the correct procedures in its sale to OCBC in 2009. I have a wide range of financial experience as chairman and director in 3 listed and 2 private companies. I have handled billions of dollars on projects building your MRT system when I was director and member of the executive committee at LTA. The 4th important quality is diplomatic experience. For 15 years, I led the Singapore, European, and Southeast Asian parliamentary groups. I've hosted numerous foreign diplomats from Europe and ASEAN on behalf of the Singapore government. Hospitality is one of my strengths, and I relish the opportunity to represent Singapore with dignity, poise, and grace as your head of state. The 5th and final quality of the president is what he wants to do when he is in office. Earlier in my first speech, I have already mentioned the physical separation of powers for public confidence and the annual statement. I now want to move on to how I intend to unify Singapore. Only the president can bridge the political divide between political parties. As the president is a neutral head of state, I will create occasion, venues, and events for leaders of different political parties where they can interact socially, find common ground, and think Singaporeans first. Singaporeans should be able to see that a political debate can occur without animosity. Also, there are many social causes which have relevant service for the country, and the president can help champion these causes to improve Singapore's civic-mindedness. I can be a bridge between active citizen groups which have passion to provide such services to connect with the government. I will promote better social cohesion among our races and our community through sports, multiracial events, cultural events, and charities. I will continue to actively strengthen multiracialism, which is the cornerstone of our society. For this reason, I've chosen the palm tree as my election symbol. The fronds of the tree represent the many races and cultures we have in Singapore. The trunk represents them coming together to take root in Singapore. Lastly, let me share a little about my closest teammate. She is my wife. Together, we have always been a team. We have consulted each other frequently. She is the backbone of our family, and she is a very capable woman. She was a former CEO of NTUC Healthcare and worked tirelessly to ensure that your medicine remains affordable. She's also currently involved in a charity supporting poor Asians in the ASEAN region.